I cannot stand how the news has been dogging Gen Z and calling them lazy for not wanting to work a 9 to 5 for the rest of their lives. Let me put it in perspective for everybody who's a little confused here, okay? I work 5 days out of the week, 40 hours a week, okay?
All right.
I do not make enough to live on my own. I would not make enough to pay rent, water, electric, and eat.
What's up, people? Welcome to another episode of The Red Pill. Gen Z isn't just frustrated. They're fed up. And can you blame them? They're entering the economy with sky-high rents, crushing debt, and wages that haven't kept up. For many, the dream of owning a home isn't just delayed, it's dead. Watch the video and let me know what you think in the comment below.
I cannot stand how the news has been dogging Gen Z and calling them lazy for not wanting to work a 9 to 5 for the rest of their lives. Let me put it in perspective for everybody who's a little confused here, okay? I work 5 days out of the week, 40 hours a week, okay?
All right.
I do not make enough to live on my own. I would not make enough to pay rent, water, electric, and eat. All by myself. I would not be capable of doing that. 20 years ago when you were getting started, you could live on your own. 20 years ago when you first started, you were able to do everything that I am now struggling to do.
Okay. If you're still watching, I think she has a point.
Let me add another perspective here. You've been working for 20 years. You have 20 years of working experience behind your belt. You have 20 years of experience in a career that has allowed you to gain raises, to get more money, to profit you in an economy that you created. You can sit here and you can call Gen Z lazy all you want, but I've been working my tail end off just to barely make it by. And respectfully, I don't want to do that for the rest of my life. I don't want to work my tail end off, wasting all of my life working just to barely be able to pay my bills.
She has a point.
And that is what you created, not Gen Z. We're just here getting started. You've been doing it for the last 20 years. You tell me how it got ruined. We can sit here and we can call Gen Z lazy all you want, but you let the economy turn into what it did.
Very interesting.
You let it all run to hell.
What do you guys think?
It's Gen Z's fault because we don't want to work to fix your mistakes.
I am seriously starting to feel like it's just about impossible to live in the United States. And, you know, I don't want to seem like a lazy bum when I seen this, but I truly feel like it's just about impossible. If you weren't raised and given a good first hand in life, or a support team who will make sure no matter what that you don't fail, or, you know, having people that you're able to fall back on, you're blessed. And if you are one of those people, I highly suggest you thank those people near you, because a lot of us aren't blessed like that. I'm a 23-year-old dad. I've got 2 kids. I've got about to be a 5-year-old in May, and I've got a newborn too. She's just a few weeks old, like 3 weeks. So my wife gets to stay at home and take care of the babies, and I'm out here trying to get it. I'm on my 3rd shift job now. I'm a security officer for Allied Universal. No, I don't represent the company in any way, shape, form, or fashion. This is just a job. I am not a part of this company. But, you know, and I work here from 12 a.m. to 8 a.m. every single day, 8-hour shift. I get off of this 3rd shift job and I go directly into another job, which I just go around my city, finding side jobs. It might be a clean out one day and I go out there for another 5, 6, 7 hours. It might be landscaping another day. It might be painting one day. It could be, you know, it varies. I do what I can where I can. But therein, I go home and I have to stay up even longer to make sure that my lady is able to get her rest too, because, I mean, being a mom's a hard job. Yes, I'm working hard, but being a mom is a hard mental job as well in its own. So I have to stay up for a little bit in order to give her time to actually rest and get her sleep too, because she needs it. But I say that to say all this, you know, having people to fall back on. Let's say you're going down the road and, like my case, my heater core blows up. I don't have no one I can call to say, hey, can I borrow $400 so I can get my heater core replaced? Or, you know, you got $300-400 so I can get new tires on my vehicle. That is just something you have to figure out on your own. And if somebody with terrible credit, you can't just go get a loan for these things. The only loan you could get is a title loan. And in a lot of states, title loans are illegal for a reason. I'm stuck in this title loan, having to pay them back $4,300, but I have to pay $700 a month just to drive. That doesn't go toward my principal, on top of having to pay my rent and all the other bills just to survive. It's impossible. You know, I would never hurt or harm myself in any way, but sometimes I just wonder why. Why am I here? I mean, there's got to be a reason why, like, life is so hard for me. What if it's not meant for me? This shit drives a lot of people to anger, man, and I understand. I truly do. You know, people say maybe these next 4 years. No, this is literally impossible. There is nothing no president is able to do to save people from what we are having to go through. Housing at an all-time high. You know, you could go to another country and you can have the same homes here for a tenth of the price that we're paying per month. Food the same exact way. And I just feel like it's impossible. If I was a drug addict, if I was a piece of shit dad, I could have so much more help. But with me out here trying to do everything the right way, you know, and nothing's working, nothing's helping. Life absolutely sucks right now. It truly, truly sucks. And there's no way to get out of it than to continue to dig myself into working and trying to come up out of this hole that seems impossible to come out of. You know, sorry for the rant. I'm not usually the ranting type. I'm just tired. I'm sick and fucking tired of having to live the way that we have to live just to survive, because it's nonsense. It truly is. I mean, I try my absolute hardest and I'm not getting anywhere.
Do you know what really gets me? When people in older generations like boomers and Gen X, or whatever their generation is called, says that Gen Z are entitled and they want everything handed to them on a silver platter. What are we getting handed to us? We don't have houses. We're in our 20s, late 20s, even early 30s, some millennials, living under their parents' roof because they can't afford rent or a house. We're all in low-paid jobs with full-on qualifications and degrees because the competitiveness in the job market is so atrocious at the moment that we're all in like the lowest entry-level jobs, most of the time not even in the fields that we are qualified in because there's no jobs. We have no money for traveling or holidays or all of these things that most people could maybe afford to do 2-3 times a year with a family years ago. Unless you have make serious sacrifices because that's your goal. We can't afford children. Everyone's always like, oh, young people don't want children, they'll change their minds, it's just an age thing. No, it's not. It's a financial thing. We can't afford it. We can't even afford pets. How are we affording a full-on human? So that's just a few examples. I just don't understand the whole, we want everything handed to us. What are we having handed to us? We are having nothing. We don't receive anything. We're all living at home. We can't afford houses. We're not in the jobs that we want to be in, or even close to progressing in the jobs we want to be in, if we are in those fields, other than the lucky few. And by that, I'm not trying to dismiss anyone's hard work, but generally, I just don't understand. What someone else, are people in my generation receiving things that I'm not? I don't get it. And I know that they're not. But what are these people referring to? You want everything handed to you. What are we having handed to us? We don't want everything handed to us. We just want the basic things that these generations got years and years ago. Your pay used to be here. And then the housing prices used to be here. And now our pay is here and the housing prices are up here. I don't understand. What do you not understand about that? We want change so badly, and we're so liberal and opinionated on these changes and so strung up on these changes because you lived cushy compared to these things for us. You were able to buy houses and have children and grow families and see some places that you wanted to see and take your family to Disneyland, Florida, blah, 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 blah. We can't do any of that. We can't even afford our food shop at the weekend. So what are we feel like we're entitled to? Basic rights? Basic things like housing, a roof over our head? So entitled. How dare we?
Those jobs are for kids. It was never meant as a career. Oh my God. The kids were never supposed to be paid less. It's that they worked less because they were part-time because they had school. It was never that we pay kids less because they deserve less. They're giving up hours of their childhood. Okay? And it used to be that you could have a part-time job, pay for your life, and pay for college, dude, or buy a car. What kids are you trying to scam and pay poverty wages, kid or not? If you work 40 hours a week, you should get a living wage. Straight up.
You tell them I'm working full time and I can't afford rent. This is something that doesn't even compute. This is like the boomer mind cannot comprehend this.
Okay, the previous creator has her stitches off, but if you haven't seen her stuff already, she's one of my favorite creators on this app, and I think we need to talk about this because I'm a Gen Z who has boomer parents, and what she says is true. Boomers are stuck in the past so hard that they can't even comprehend that us, like Gen Z and millennials, it's not just that we're lazy and we don't want to work hard, it's that even if we worked as hard as possible, we still can't, afford to live right now. Hard work isn't enough anymore. And I hear these comments all the time as someone who's parents, friends, or all that age. They think that we're all just lazy. And they refuse to realize that times have changed. It is not the same as when you were our age. Just to start, let's look at the rise of the average home value over the years versus the rise of the average household income, as compared to when boomers were our age and able to easily afford rent. So boomers would have been our age sometime between the 70s and the late 80s here. So this is the average price of housing or a house at that time, and this is the average income of the household, right? Here it is now. Do you see the difference? Do you see how, yes, it was hard back then. It's just not even comparable. The second chart I did steal from Madeline. Here's the average tuition for college, right? And the average full-time 40 hours a week job, which you can't even do in college. So I don't know why this is relevant, but here's when boomers existed. And here it is now. It stops at 2010 too. It's probably gone up since then. But now let's do the actual math to prove that you cannot budget in this economy. For argument's sake, I was making $20 an hour working 40 hours a week, right? That's twice what minimum wage is in my state. Let's just pretend everyone's making twice minimum wage for whatever reason, argument's sake. So you're making that much every 2 weeks. Which, here's the math. This is your take home after tax every month. So let's budget it, shall we? Average rent in my city for a one bedroom is about $2,000, but luckily I live in a shoebox, so after paying for parking, utilities, and all that, it's about $1,500. And yes, you need parking because you gotta have a car to get to and from work. So now we're down to this. But then there's food. I only ate about 1.5 meals every day, so that was $20 for food a day because making meals for one person is expensive. 20 times 7 times 4 is $560, so knock that off of here, and we're down to $654. Sadly, we're not done. The average student loan cost in the country is about $300, so we'll say $300 off of that. Now we're down to $354. Luckily, insurance for cars in Minnesota is only $70 because you gotta have a car to get to and from work every day. And thankfully, I drove a hybrid and I didn't do much driving outside of that, so I only had to fill up my tank twice a month, which was $50 roughly each time. Actually more, but we'll round down, so that's $100 as well. And now we're down to $184, but wait, I have medication that literally keeps me alive that I have to pay for every month. And now that I'm looking at the budget, I'm thinking that might be what we should cut out at this point. But for now, we'll pretend we want to keep going and knock another $50 off this. This is what we're at, but don't forget, we still need basic things like toilet paper, soap, tampons, things like that. So we'll just pretend that's only $50 a month. Woo, and now at this point, we're just praying we never need to go to the dentist or the doctor or replace any clothing or anything bad happens at all, like a flat tire. But wait, there's still more. Because these boomers promised us that it was possible to retire with this much money left at the end of every month. Okay, let's go do our basic retirement calculator. We're going to pretend we want to retire at the age of 67 because that's what they're trying to raise it to now. And I'm going to just pray that I pass at 88, even though every woman in my family has lived well into her 90s. Given that I can't budget in a doctor, this would probably be a good bet. According to those calculations, I need to be saving this much money per month in order to retire at that age. So we'll have to knock that off too. And that leaves us with, drumroll please, this much money in our bank account at the end of every month. Does anyone want to advise us on how to budget this? Because I'm thinking maybe taking out the life-saving medication. So no, boomers, it's not that we're not working hard. It's that we don't have any hope or money.
Yo, let me know what you think in the comment. Like, share, subscribe, and see you in the next one.